Hey guys, it's Felix of the FWX podcast. Before we begin with this episode, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you. Welcome to 2026. This is the first episode of the year. In a couple of months, there's going to be a little celebration, but that is for then. We're going to be talking about the cultural phenomenon of 2025 movie I saw 2 days ago at night that I absolutely loved and now am obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters. We're going to talk about it, but before I do that, I have to inform you that you can like this video. You can also subscribe to this channel and to the podcast, and that will help us become more available to people who like this kind of content when I'm talking about movies and action, a lot of franchises as well. I also talk a lot about story elements, whether it's character building, story building, world building, and I'm gonna be doing that in this video as well. And occasionally, I also bring up other stuff that will come. Okay, a couple more things before we start here. You can also share this with friends and family. You can also tell your friends at your work, your colleagues, that, or maybe just here online as well. And you can comment away in the comment section. But I would like it if you do that in a kind and friendly way. Yes. And then finally, before we begin, I'm not a native English speaker, so if I get something wrong or if I mispronounce something or something else gets wrong, that's entirely human. So it's good that you know that in case something goes wrong. Okay, let's talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. And for that, I'm gonna go a little lower here. I'll be still here. So obviously, like I said, the cultural phenomenon of 2025, and I am very late to that party. I am well aware, but I want to talk about it now that I've seen it. And to start with, I'm gonna read the little blurb that they got here for us. So, when K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe aren't selling out stadiums or topping the Billboard charts, they're moonlighting as demon hunters to protect their fans from the ever-present supernatural danger. And this is a real supernatural danger, by the way, in this movie. And for more of that, we're going to go to the images here. So, if at this point you don't know this movie or the gigantic impact it's having, I think you might have been living under a rock. But nonetheless, I'm going to be talking about this here. And the first thing I want to talk about is that obviously this is an animated movie made by Sony Pictures Animation. And actually, I did another thing to prepare for this besides watch this movie and listen to the music a lot, which I am now obsessed with. And that is also watching to what this studio has made before. And for that, I'm gonna pull up. I haven't actually brought this up yet, but I'm gonna be doing that here. Spider Verse. The Sony Animations studio is also known for making both the Spider Verse movies, like the one you see on screen, Across the Spider Verse, and Inside the Spider Verse. This is from the same studio. And just like with this franchise, this movie, K pop Demon Hunters, has an amazing cast that I hadn't heard about before, including two that I hadn't heard of before. I'm gonna go back to the information for that for a moment. So the two I'm referring to is, of course, Ken Jeong from The Hangover. He's also a talented comedian and jurist on The Masked Singer in the US. And then the other person is Liza Koshy, another YouTuber and well known presenter. And of course, also Daniel Day Kim, who you will definitely know from a couple of roles from Lost or the more recent Butterfly or Hawaii 5 O exactly as well. He was also in that recent other animated Giant, which had a live action version where he played the the villain. I'm referring to Avatar: The Last Airbender live action and a good couple of other roles. And he plays both him, well, mostly him. He mostly he has a smaller role in this one as well. I might get to that point to talk about it. Okay, so like I said, this is an animated movie made by Sony's Animation Studios, who previously made the Spider Verse movies, of course. They've now worked out with Netflix to make this movie, which was absolutely amazing. And so it tells the story of three pop stars, three idols from Korea. I'm gonna go back to the images for some stuff to talk about here. Get a good image from them. Maybe this one. Oh yeah, that's a good big picture right here. So in this picture that I got on Billboard right here, you can clearly see that this. Just a second. No, it is a little too much. I'll just stick to this big picture right here. Uh, what I wanted to refer to is the weapons that they're handling. So I'm gonna point out for a moment here that, as I've often said when it comes to action, what you use as a weapon often tells a lot about your personality and accounts for these three as well. I feel like I need another picture from them. Just a second. I'm gonna quickly save this one. I can go into my maps. Ah, here we go. So here we go. Huge picture. And so from that blurb that I read, you couldn't tell what kind of villain, what kind of enemy they're working in the trio against. So there's something, well, it's actually pretty obvious given the name Demon Hunters. They literally hunt demons. And so what we see from the beginning. And by the way, this is a huge spoiler alert to anyone that hasn't seen the movie. But at this point, I think if you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing here exactly? So we learn about the the origins of the group and everything that's gone prior in the very beginning of the movie. We see that for I'm guessing about 100 years, something like that. There have been K-pop bands working together in group to fight demons and seal them like beneath the earth with something called a Han Moon. And I hope I pronounced that right. Uh, the other part here that's important is to the first part of the name, K-pop. So this is very much based in Korea, and the way it's presented in the movie is, I think, a united Korea. There's not really a clear distinction to where exactly. So I'm thinking it's a united version in universe, of course, because this is fiction for those who don't know. Of course, that seems pretty evident when you watch this movie. That while it pretty much feels like a supernatural fictional tale, it has some basis in reality, but not all of it, of course, as evident by this picture right here. So you got the three singers, you got Rumi in the middle, you got Mira as the redhead, and you got Zoe with the shorter hair. And so, like I said, oftentimes you can tell by the way people are fighting or what kind of weapon they're using, who they are. And so, another key part of that fighting is they're singing because that is how they make the Han Moon exactly. Their combined harmony because they sing in a three-part harmony where they come together at one point to not just make the harmonies to make the Hanmun alone, uh, for the songs themselves, they sing in a three-part harmony. And so I'm gonna go over those songs in a moment, by the way, because they need to be talked about because while they're part of the movie, they also tell the story of the movie as well. And so we learn about the story of the demon hunters and everything that has come before, in that for years they have been fighting demons, they hunt them, but they also an international pop band, specifically Korean pop. That's where that name comes from, for those who don't know. And they're international stars, they're really good singers that makes up their Hanmun. That's the kind of stripes here that you see underneath. The Hanmun keeps the demons underground. But the story has come to the point where the demons are trying something new, and somebody special gets selected to fight and defeat the demon hunters. That's the three of them, of course, again. And there's a guy called Genu. I'm gonna go back to one of the pictures here. Actually, this is very important to the Song of Three that I will talk about in a moment. But here we see the version of Genu who is half human, half demon, mostly demon because he's been around for a long time. It says in the movie that it's 400 years. I think it might be even longer. And so we see in this picture for free, in the pictures for free, that he seems very human. But then there's another song when it comes to the demon band, the Saja Boys, by the way. And they have another song called Idol. We're gonna check out. This is interesting. This is from a video, but you can clearly see here, right above me, that their appearances originally are very demon esque, and this all gets into what is happening with the story as well. There's physical demons, but also to give us the illusion of we are always fighting our own demons, emotionally, metaphorically, but in our real lives, we are not fighting them physically or literally, but we are doing that on some level when it comes to our emotions, our minds, our soul, and our bodies. Because you can have issues in your life. Actually, I'm gonna get back to myself for that for a moment. So, like I'm explaining, uh, well, this movie very much materializes your inner demons as actual demons to serve the plot in the character plot in the movie as well. This is very much a thing that we experience in real life where we deal with issues every day and we try to hold them back as best as we can or not as we can. Because we get to a point in this movie that we'll see in a moment where I will talk about that. But I wanted to make sure for that for a moment so that it's clear. And if me saying that is not clear enough for you, if you watch this movie, it will be clear enough for you. Also, especially when it comes to the songs that I will talk about in a moment. Okay, so back to what I want to show here. That's, so it's pretty clear that I hope it's clear now that what I'm saying here is that every day we fight our inner demons, and this movie materializes those demons as an element to fight against. And I was actually showing that picture, of course. So let me check for a moment if I'm clear here. I think that's a little better. Sorry, not my intention. So this picture clearly tells, actually to the point where they get in this movie. So, like I was saying, the three girls, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, have been doing this for some time. They're still making songs. They're trying to clear the honeymoon. But we get to a point where everything is starting to falter. And it's interesting where we have this trio of badass fighters who are also killer singers. But what seems to be the problem is that actually the thing they've been fighting is unfortunately something that has been rising in Rumi for a long time. And that's part of the prologue as well. So, full spoiler alert here. So, Rumi has lived her whole life with something called patterns, which are spots on your body if you have been infected by demons. And the truth for Rumi is that she had a demon hunter mother in a previous version called the Sunlight Sisters, if I'm not mistaken. And one of those band members is actually the mentor figure for this group, for the K-pop Demon Hunters, who trained them as well as they could. She's called Celine. She's kind of an strong, overbearing aunt kind of figure, and she has taught the group well when it comes to fighting and singing, but she's also very protective over Ruby. As always, gotten her to the point where she needs to cover up those patterns. And to give you an equivalent to what patterns might be in our real world, I'm gonna reveal something myself, and because what's interesting, well, actually, a little bit more before I show what I want to show is that they're starting to falter at the beginning of the movie after getting some bad demons off of their plane, their jet. Rumi realizes that those patterns that she's had for all those years have finally gotten to the thing that she needs to fight with, and that's her voice. And the patterns show up on your whole body, which she has been covering up with. You can clearly see this in this picture as well. So she's completely covered in her outfit here. And then the thing I wanted to share about that, which makes it such a personal tale for me, is that for years, well, personally only a few years, I've been dealing with something of a pattern myself. Um, you know what? I'm gonna get a little personal about this. I'm gonna show this clear as well. So, for a few years, I was diagnosed. This sounds a little hard, uh, but no, something happened a couple of years ago that makes this movie such a personal thing for me. So you can clearly see part here. I got other parts as well. So what I'm showing here is that I have psoriasis, which is interesting to me when it came to this movie because it kind of resembles the patterns that they refer to. And I got other spots too, just like them actually. I got stuff around my ankles. There's some stuff behind my ear, even behind my hair as well. And it's tough to live with that, kind of like the patterns are in this movie. But of course, I'm drawing the connection here that if you live with this day after day, you can. At one moment, it might be too much. Yeah, that's what I meant. And that's also just what happens in this movie, of course. So, back to the video and back to what I'm talking about here. So, like I said, Rumi has a lot of patterns, just like I have psoriasis. And that's what's so relatable here. I'm talking about a trio of badass K-pop singers, free girls, and yet I can relate to this moment, to this having scars. And actually, well, I'm not going to reveal too much about the movie because if you haven't seen this, urge you, I recommend that you go see this movie. And let's actually talk about the songs now. So let's start from the beginning here. Not that one, this one. So at the very beginning, they have a new song out that they launch, uh, just like in our real life, social media wise. And they launched this song, Golden, which is an amazing song in itself. And like I said, the interesting part here is that the song also tells the tale of the movie. It's not just amazing music that we are listening to for ourselves, it's also just what happens. And it's in the lyrics right here. So I'm not going to play the music itself because I don't want to get copyrighted here, but put out, I'll point out here the the story of the movie in the lyrics itself. So Rumi starts with I was a ghost, I was alone, and then a bit of it in Korean tells clearly about who she was. And also interesting, she refers to being a ghost, as in another kind of supernatural being, basically. But then she goes, not specifically in the lyrics, but basically coming together with my friends here made me realize that have power together, which results in the lyrics, given the throne, I don't know how to believe I was the queen I'm meant to be. And then we get a little information from the other two, as Zoe sings, I lived two lives, tried to play both times, but I couldn't find my own place, and that's because Zoe used to grow up in, well, she says Burbank, USA, because of the placing of everything in this universe. And then Mira comes in with her verse, called a problem child because I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Something in Korean on stage. And then we get into the chorus and the masterful lyrics. And I'm hiding, now I'm shining, like I'm born to be. We dream and heart became so far, now I believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment, you know, together we're glowing. Gonna be golden. Which clearly tells that together we are who we say we are. We're here to help you, and together we make it better for you. And then we get a little more from Rumi with the next lyrics. Waited so long to break these walls down, to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now, and finally live like the girl they all see. So she's talking about I want to deal with this aspect, the patterns that she says, sings, and be who I really want to be. Not just one part of me, but all parts of me that I want to show you. And it's in this next lyrics too. No more hiding, I'll be shining like I'm born to be, because we are hunters, voices strong, and now I believe. Which, and the way you hear it in the song is where that three-part harmony comes in. Because at first they all are like, I did this, I did that, and I did another, and then we go, we. We are hunters, voices strong, and I know I'll believe. That's what that song comes down to. That's song number one from this amazing movie. And then we get introduced to the going back for a moment because I also like the aesthetic of the colors, of course. Obviously, golden speak for itself, and so like I said, we get introduced to the Saja boys, who are rivals of them. And the first song we learn of them is kind of like your, and I'm sorry to say, it's kind of your standard sweet K-pop kind of song, like we're kind of used to in our real lives. And it's the introduction of the Saja boys, and it kind of tells about them too. For instance, they sing "Looking Like Snacks" because I got it like that. Take a big bite when another bite, yeah. When you're in my arms, I hold you so tight, so tight. Oh, and then key words here, because I need you to need me. I'm empty, you feed me. So refreshing, my little soda pop, which basically gives away what they're actually intending. The demons need souls to feed on. So they're drawing you in with what the hunters have been doing for such a long while. And so this is basically, again, a way of them saying, I need to consume you. You're my little soda pop. And it's all over these lyrics, by the way. Here's some more of it. You're all I can think of, every drop I drink of. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Cool me down, you're so hot, pour me up, I won't stop. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Make me wanna flip the top. You hit the spot. Every little drip and drop, fizz and pop, it's getting hot. Yes, I'm sipping when it's dripping, now it's done. I need a second round. And pour a lot, and don't you stop till my soda pop fizzles out. So, like I said, it's all over these lyrics that the demons need sustenance to fill themselves, and they take souls. They take the fans as souls. And so that's their introduction. And I also want to say, when it comes to these lyrics and to that moment in the movie, is that they're very much presented like we're used to in our real life of K-pop. And this is kind of an overstep for me for a moment because I'm talking about a movie, but I'm also talking about the music for a moment, which kind of feels like I'm doing two podcasts at the same time. I might do that actually. Not just release it on the FWX podcast. Okay, so that's about the setup up thing. This is the last song of the movie, what it sounds like. Golden. And then we get to a point where Genu and Rumi meet for the first time, and they meet a couple of times until this moment where we get this banger of a song called Free. And let's go over those lyrics as well, because they tell it also more about the song, uh, about the movie, and about where Renu and Renu, Rumi and Genu are in this moment of the movie. So Rumi starts, I tried to hide, but something broke. I tried to sing, couldn't hit the notes. The words kept catching in my throat. I tried to smile, I was suffocating though. Because at this point, like I said, the passions have reached her voice, specifically her vocal cords. And you see that in this movie, literally, as she, kind of like me talking to you in the camera right now, she's looking into a bathroom mirror and sees when she's moving her I'll just say top. I don't know what the actual word for the clothing is that she's wearing. And she sees that, in fact, the patterns have actually reached her vocal cords. And she continues with the lyrics, but here with you I can finally breathe. You say you're no good, but you're good for me. I've been hoping to change, now I know we can change, but I won't if you're not by my side. And then we get into the chorus. Why does it feel like every time I let you in? Why does it feel like I can tell you anything? All the secrets that keep me in chains, and all the damage that might make me dangerous. So this is kind of like it's most definitely a duet. I'm gonna get into that dark side for. I'm gonna get into that other part where he starts to sing in a moment, but it's them opening up to each other about how they feel, and it results in this beautiful, harmonious song called "Free." And then we get Genu to join in on from his side in a moment, because there's one more part of the lyrics that I want to talk about here. This part right here. You got a dark side. Guess you're not the only one. What if you tried? What if we both tried fighting or running from? We can fix it if we never face it. What if we find a way to escape it? We could be free. Let the past be the past till it's weightless. They're getting to the point where, you know, I don't really know if there's a lot of conversation about the fact that they are falling in love. Still doesn't really feel like they're falling in love at that point, actually. But they're getting to the point where they could fall in love, I think. And then we get Jinu's perspective, keyword there. He sings, "Oh, time goes by and I lose perspective." By the way, this is a really fast point that he goes. Yeah, hope only hurts, so I just forget it. But you're breaking through all the dark in me when I thought that nobody could. And you're waking up all these parts of me that I thought were buried for good. You can hear the rhyming in there vocally, because on paper, could and good could not rhyme, but vocally it can. And then he goes further. Between imposter and this monster, I've been lost inside my head. Ain't no choice with all these voices keep pointing me towards no end. It's just easy when I'm with you. No one sees me the way you do. I don't trust it. I don't want to. I keep coming back too. And then we get the chorus again. What does it feel like? We could be free. So it's them coming kind of together. And we get amazing lyrics, amazing harmony from them singing on this song. And I'm actually reminded. Let's step back to me for a moment for this. I'm actually reminded of another song from another musical musical series that is High School Musical. They have a song in the first one near the end where Gabriella, that's by the way another Easter egg for you guys. Don't often do this. There's a song by Cat's Eye called Gabriella. Every time I hear that name, I think of that song, of course. And so you got uh, Zac Efron's version of Troy Bolton. And the reason why I say that is because there is a newer version of High School Musical from a couple of years ago, which also produced a great singer called Olivia Rodrigo, of course. And so I'm reminded of the song Troy and Gabriella do in at the end of High School Musical, the first movie, where they come together to sing a song together. And I have it in my head and I kind of want to sing it. And I'm trying to remind myself what the damn name was again. But I know it's something similar to this. It's about freedom. It's about the moment that you take the leap and take a chance so we can be together. That's what this song is also about. That's very much what free is about. Let's be together. Or let's find a way to be together. Okay, some more from the lyrics that tells more about the story. So this is, I would say, about halfway in, which kind of fits when you think about it. I want to go to the images for a moment. kind of in this picture from Instagram. That's a little too small. Maybe this one. Yeah, so it's kind of a Romeo Julio duet kind of thing for them, and it's also a great song. And after that, things go downhill again, and then we get to hear not too much after this, as the Saja boys have laid a trap for them, and we get the song of Your Idol, which tells also again a lot. I'll just get the lyrics from Genius for a moment. And it's completely in the lyrics here as well. So it begins with Pray for Me Now in different versions from the guys. And it's, like I say, completely in the lyrics. And starting with keeping you in check, keeping you obsessed, play me on repeat in your head, which is a key phrase here because you actually there's actually a figure behind the Saja boys called Guima, the Demon King, who is just represented in this movie as a huge purplish fire. And he says things to people, preying upon you. And I'm gonna go back to me for a moment because there's I wouldn't say it's an analogy, but kind of similar. It reminds me of in the movie Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings near the end. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen that movie. Um, so for all that movie, Shang-Chi, the hero, his father, the villain, has been hearing the voice of his late wife come from somewhere. And we have a similar moment here in K-pop Demon Hunters where people can hear voices in their head, specifically Guima's voice as he is trying to seduce you to the other side and have you be a worthless little sheeple trying to follow him so that demons can be fed. Because, as I said at the beginning, the demons feed on the souls of the fans of the K-pop bands. And we get to that point here where people are starting to hear stuff. So, also, what just happened, it's kind of a key moment, but the Sacha Boys have a trap for the hunters where they expose the fact that actually Rumi has been dealing with the fact that she has patterns just like them. And there's a moment in a in the stadium where two fake demons portray Rumi's friends, and they rip off the sleeves of Rumi, and you see the shades of them, like I was showing about my cirrhosis, so everybody can see. But at this point, the demons seem to kind of have taken over almost completely, to the point where they can get two fake versions of them on the stage with Rumi and not recognize that this is not her friends, but that she is standing there on her own, trying to perform Golden alone, not aware that those other two are not her friends, are not Mira and Zoe. And so, as this trap is laid, Saja Boys are singing a song, Idol, your idol specifically. Need to make that clear for you guys. And so, it's all in the lyrics here. Like I said, keeping you in check, keeping you obsessed. I can be your sanctuary. Seems very evident, right? No, I'm the only one right now. I will love you more when it all burns down. More than power, more than gold, referring golden that Rumi had been singing in a moment ago. Even more here. Yeah, you gave me your heart. Now I'm here for your soul. Because I need the souls. And Junior continues to sing, I'm the only one who will love your sins. Feel the way my voice gets underneath your skin. Once again, referencing the whispers from Guima into everyone's ear. And then it continues, listen, cause I'm preaching to the choir. Can I get the mic a little higher? Give me your desire, I can be the star you rely on. And preaching to the choir is another saying where they are trying to address a large audience, which is generally what happens in stadiums, of course. And it continues, don't you know I'm here to save you, now we're running wild. Yeah, I'm all you need, I'ma be your idol. This, funny enough, also references kind of like what we experience in real life with the people that we look up to, especially when they're singers and dancers and celebrities and all of that. We tend to kind of get very into fandom when we want to belong. And I'm also guilty of that myself. I've talked about that before. And then it continues more. Oh, here's a key phrase. Thank you for the pain because it got me going viral. You made me famous. You made me who I am. I'm nothing without you, is what they are saying. Your obsession feeds our connection. Give me all your attention. Again, keywords for what's happening. And here's from the bridge. Bridge is an important part of the song. Living in your mind now. Too late because you're mine now. I will make you free. For you're all part of me. Kind of like a hive mind. There's a moment from the movie where the three of them are still together, just right before the concert happens, where they're on top of a train, trying to trying to deal with the demons, like the larger part of them, and it's all similar looking demons, which is where I'm getting this lyric in my head with when you're all a part of me, like you will be more of yourself and you're part of this unit. There's another key phrase. Watch me set your world on fire. Again, kind of referencing to Guima as he is presented by like a huge purplish flame. And then they finish with the lyrics, you're down on your knees, I'ma be your idol. Down on your knees, like you're kind of worshipping someone. Yet another real life thing that they expertly put in this song. So that kind of leads them to. I'm gonna get the pictures back up. That gets the Saja boys to convince a whole lot of people to join them. We get to another stadium. We see the girls again, trio, and we get one final song before this ends, and that is what it sounds like. And I'm gonna put up a couple of images here I'm gonna put away the lyrics part for a moment because well, I'll use this picture. Oh, this is a good big one. So what happens here is that Rumi has confronted Mira and Zoe after they saw the patterns. They're now very much at odds with her. She's trying to make it better. Then they get locked away. No, not locked away. Swayed away, I will say, because that song that I just talked about, Your Idol from the Sajabos was playing, and Grima started telling things into their ears, specific to them, playing to their insecurities and their problems and their issues. And all of them get into another stadium, a pretty big one where the Saja Boys are playing. And this is where they all come together again. And the lyrics, go as followed. And so Rumi is first into the stadium, or rather, walks up to the stadium where their Saja Boys are taking place with Jinu singing the main stuff. And she starts with nothing but the truth now, nothing but the proof of what I am, the worst of what I came from, patterns I'm ashamed of, things that even I don't understand. So, telling about her problems, specifically the patterns that she has all over her. And by the way, all over her means all over her. Because at this point, the patterns have twisted her hand. She has something up with her eye as well. Kind of looks a little uh, cat like. And here the rest of the lyrics go. She is singing, I tried to fix it, I tried to fight it. My head was twisted and my heart divided. My lies all collided, which refers to her seeing Rumi seeing Zoe and Mira again in the backstage of the stadium that she was just at, but now it's in this stadium. While they're also there because Guima had been praying to their attention. So she continues. I don't know why I didn't trust you to be on my side. I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back. Like, she's getting to the point where she's trying to accept the fact that this is who I am. This is all part of me. I'm getting to the point I really want, despite so much trouble that I just went through. And it continues with these lyrics. I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back, but now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. She's trying to accept her imperfections. The scars are part of me, darkness and harmony. My voice without the lies, this is what it sounds like. And then we get into a little bit from the other two, Mira and Zoe. Zoe singing, why did I cover up the color stuck inside my head? I should have let the jagged edges meet the light instead. But this is the both of them, sentence for sentence. So first Zoe with, why did I cover up the color stuck inside my head? Then Mira, I should have let the jagged edges meet the light instead. And then Rumi again, show me what it's show me what's underneath. I'll find your harmony. And then very in the moment, but also relevant to the song, uh, to talk about a song inside the song. The song we couldn't write, this is what it sounds like because they were having trouble coming up with a new song to make the honeymoon last. And now they're at this point where everything is about to go because of the demons. But they have found themselves at this point with these new lyrics that I just said, and the following as well. We're shattering the silence, we're rising, defiant, shouting in the quiet, you're not alone. We listen to the demons, we let them get between us, which is what I said, but none of us are out here on our own. The beginning to the chorus here. We were cowards, we were liars, we're not heroes, we're still survivors. The dreamers, the fighters, no lying, I'm tired. But dive in the fire and I'll be right here by your side. So they're finding themselves again in the moment as we're getting to the point of the climax, basically. So occasionally we heard here I and show me, I'll, my. Now we're getting into the we stuff. And it goes with, and it starts with, we broke into a million pieces and we can't go back. But I was seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. The scars are the scars are part of me. Darkness and harmony. My voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like. So they're putting their lyrics together here. And it continues with the same lyrics. Why did we cover up the colors stuck inside our head? Get up and let the jagged edges meet the light instead. Show me what's underneath. I'll find your harmony. Fearless and undefined. This is what it sounds like. And then we get a bit more of that here until we get that beautiful, delightful three-part harmony. And I want to give all credit to the people that have made it here. You can see the songwriters right here. Stephen Kirk, Hong Young Park, Jenna Andrews, EJ, Jeong Hun Seo, Daniel Rojas, Mark Sonnenblick, Hee Dong Nam, Yong Gyu Kwak, and Johan Lee. And I hope I pronounced that right. And that is where the song ends. That is a song they decide. You know what? You can see in the pictures to visualize what I just said, what the lyrics are, and probably one of the best songs, if not the best song of this movie. And it visualizes by their clothes, which were kind of black leather before, now change into a vibrant white that fuels their energy and the hormone again. And they create a new hormone. And one other thing I want to mention here is that, uh, you know what, actually, I'll go back to me for a moment. The thing I want to reference here for a moment in that I didn't say before, right before, I'm trying to think timeline wise. Yeah, right after being exposed by those fake demons, Rumi went back to her mentor for a moment to talk about why did I need to cover up for so long to Celine. And Celine is trying to help her, but actually doesn't know how to do that the right way and just says it like she was used to, which leads Rumi to head back, go to that stadium, voice in that song, in the sentences she has to her friends. I did something bad. I want to make it up. Can we please try? And they put that in song version. And that is where we get the end of this movie with one hell of a song with This Is What It Sounds Like. And so I feel like this is a good moment to end this episode. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know this was an absolute huge cultural phenomenon last year. I should have listened and watched this movie a lot better. It did on some point break kind of open to me as well. I remember hearing Free for the first time and being like, ooh, what is this? But now that I've seen it, I'm absolutely hooked. I'm gonna be continue to listen to those songs. They're amazing. There's some more interesting online content on YouTube as well when it comes to the movie and the group and all of that. And I will be doing that. And I hope that you will do that for me as well. So, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching this episode of the FWX podcast. Before I go, one or rather a couple more things I'm gonna say here. Of course, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. That helps us out. Then we become more available to people who like this kind of content. I tend to talk a lot about movies and action and franchises and also series, but also don't mind talking about animation like I just did. So please, if you like that kind of content, please like and subscribe to the channel and this video as well. And you will see this soon. And I hope you do those things. That will greatly help us out. And finally, one last time that I want to say, because we're past the half of January already, but I want to give you one last Happy New Year. And I hope to see you in the next episode of the FWX podcast. And I guess for this episode, kind of slash pop music talk as well. So, guys, thank you so much for all of that. I hope to see you in the next episode, and I will see you then. See ya.